Hey gang, welcome to Bugbears and Brews. My name's Brian, and today we're recapping the 32nd session of our Tomb of Annihilation campaign. And we're switching it up a little bit. Instead of drinking beer, we're having a mojito because it's springtime and mojitos are kind of a warm weather type of drink to me. So maybe went a little bit too sweet, a little bit too much simple syrup. Besides that, my mint's pretty spot on. My lime's pretty spot on. Love me some mojitos. All right. So we picked up, we were entering a room where we just had to put in the 10 gem eyes. The door opened up in this pretty large room, probably like a 100-foot circular room, domed. Its floor is super smooth and shiny. So instead of looking domish, it looks more spherical in makeup. And all around it, there is like candles just all over the place, lighting the room up. So it's nice, it's lit, it's vibrant. There's all these alcoves with all this delicious looking treasure. And sitting in the center of it, there is this spheroidal, we'll call it, yeah, spheroidal object floating about 20 feet off the ground with this curtain over top of it. And so you guys are kind of like taking a look around, trying to figure out what's going on here, looking at the treasures, being a little cautious. And was it Navarre that peeled away the curtain from the spherical object using Mage Hand, I believe? And when he did that, Obrukta and Ildrix went flying up against this thing, smashed into it, and were stuck. So, like magnetized, super stuck, like, I can't move. Yeah. And then this big booming taunting voice that you guys couldn't understand comes out of nowhere. And so I should say, like underneath the curtain, when you pull the back, it's this metal sphere. So not quite what you guys were expecting. But this big booming taunting voice comes out. You guys can't understand it. Clearly taunting you. You guys can't see where it's coming from. Everybody's feeling not doing really good on their perception checks, that kind of stuff there. And so eventually what it comes down to is, let's see here. Navarre was trying to cover the object, the sphere, back up. And as he was doing that, Carr started messing with the treasure. And when that happened, beams started shooting out from essentially nowhere in the air. So from the air, but you guys didn't see. How about that? That makes a little bit more sense. Starts shooting out, hitting a couple people. I should say, as that was going on, you guys kind of identified that there is actually something up in the air that you can't see. Obrukta could feel it, but couldn't see it or anything like that. Came back with her hand all super slimy. Yeah. Lo and behold, eventually it's pretty not hard to determine because there's a lot of clues leading up to this. It's a beholder, except for the beholder's invisible. So that makes things a little trickier. So you guys are relying on your AoE attack, or your AoE spells, or rolling with the disadvantage if you're doing like a physical attack, that kind of stuff there. And you guys get pretty lucky with a lot of your hits. And then on my side, I didn't get a whole lot of the damage dealing beams. I did get some, and we'll get into later on one that was pretty dangerous there. But for the most part, the beams, like there was a couple of the eye beams that were dealing with the what's it called, the sleep and casting on elves, so that didn't impact them, that kind of stuff there. A little bit of the cone, magical anti-magic cone type spell situation. Then we kind of determined, we had a discussion about whether or not, if the person that is maintaining concentration on a spell runs into it, what happens with the spell. And so we determined during that time frame, the spell is no longer in effect, but once they move out, they can pass a concentration check to regain the spell. We all thought that was pretty fair. So this fight is going on. Things are getting kind of ugly because Ildrix and Obrukta are stuck to the sphere, so they can't really get there. Obrecta, though, is doing really, really good hitting this thing, even with disadvantage. Eventually it did move away. Um, but like during the combat, Carr wound up getting put to sleep, I think, at one point. Navarre got put to sleep at one. No, Navarre didn't get put to sleep. So Carr got put to sleep and charmed. Both of them got lifted up in the air at one point. Some big nasty, damage rays. I forget which ones they were. Hit a couple people. Didn't do the, some of them were. I'm just babbling about the race. Let's just stop about that. Anyway, going on to like the main parts of this this encounter here. So what wound up happening is the beholder wound up using its magical anti-magic cone on that sphere, and it dropped it from the it took away its magnetic properties, and it fell to the ground. And Ildrex and Obrecta fell off. They both dodged out of the way of the rolling ball there, and with that, it turned over. The beholder got a hold of Carr, got him on his side, and Carr cast Tidal Wave on the group of players, and wound up doing some damage to Obrecta. And that's very key there, because the next thing that happened was the Death Ray, I believe is what it was, shot out, hit Obrecta, and brought it down to 0. And if it wasn't for the the friendly fire tidal wave, Obrecta would have lived. Obrecta sadly died to the death beam, and when you die to the death beam, that's it. Game over. No death saves. No nothing. It's done. It's not all your gears are disintegrated. It's not the disintegration ray, but it's still, we lost Obrecta. But eventually, you guys did kill the beholder. So I think it was like Obrecta died, and then the next turn or the turn after that, the beholder died. So kind of unfortunate the way things worked out, but that is the way it is. Looking at the room, there's a bunch of coinage in there. Lots and lots and lots and lots of gold that you guys are going to pretty much have nothing to do with, because you guys are trapped in a mega dungeon. Sorry. There was a +1 shield, a reduced person potion, and a bead of force, and then some art objects. Carr wound up taking this octopus coronet, which is actually the thing that he was interested in that started this whole fight. But in the end, there wasn't like anything really, I don't want to say helpful in the room, because you guys got some armor and a couple goodies out of it, but no other reason to go in the room besides for treasure. So we lost the character for treasure. You guys then decided, let's roll the ball against the door, prop up the immovable rod against the ball so it won't move, and you took a long rest. I gave you the long rest without issue. That's a pretty good smart plan on how to get the rest. And with that, we were done with the 3rd floor, headed down to the 4th floor. 4th floor, we enter into this stairwell, and unlike the other stairwells, this one doesn't go down anymore. There's a pit in the center of the floor, but that no more additional stairs down. On top of that, there was a skeleton chatting with another skeleton head. These are the skeletons with the weird headpiece type deals. And it's chatting with this other skeleton, making all these clicking noises. It sees you guys. It runs away, puts the other skeleton head on its shoulder, and just heads off. You guys let it run off too. So surrounding this pit, though, that's in the floor, so there's this 15 by 15 pit. And there's 4 gargoyles, each with 4 arms. There's one with a pedestal of gold, silver, copper, and platinum. And you guys pretty quickly figured out, like, hey, we're each going to put in, or we're going to put in gold, or the coin equivalent to that that gargoyle's pedestal, because each of them had a little slot there. I gave you guys everybody has to pay the toll, because there was no really real hints on how to give it away. And then if I would have gave you just a simple hint, it would have been automatic anyway. To do a hint, that would have been clue you in enough. There's not a subtle way to hint at that. So you guys got the main gist of that puzzle. So I said, you know what, let's go on. Boom. Here, Brian did a little DM railroading, because I wanted us to get to where I can introduce Tim's new character. So we headed down the hallway, and there's this thing hanging on the wall. It's covered up by a curtain. Navarre, he once again uses Mage Hand, peels it off, looks in the mirror. So it's a mirror behind there, and he looks at it. He gets sucked into the mirror. And one of the clues that you guys had heading downstairs was the mirror holds 12. Right around, it's right around there. I know the number 12 was there, but like the phrasing, it's somewhere right around that. And so Barlow Mark was not there. He had some personal stuff come up, but I did play a little bit of Barlow there, and he went up, did a detect magic, identify. He rolled a pretty good Arcana and kind of pieced together what it was: life trapping mirror, mirror of life trapping, whatever the hell you want to call it. And knew that if you did identify, you can get its command phrases, and so got the command phrases. And the first thing that pops up with the random table as you guys are releasing people is Tim's new character, which, if anybody remembers the Storm King Thunder campaign, is Thessalon, the trickster god cleric, or cleric of the trickster god and warlock. And so I am letting him come in as a level 11 character, but he's not going to gain any additional levels, as you guys should finish up at level 11. I just figure it was already level 11. Let him just have it. It's not a big deal. Not a big power swing there. And so it's like actually his legit character. He had the character sheets and everything, so whatever goodies he had, that's great. He has it. So he might actually have some Fizzletink's instantaneous fire sticks. I forget whatever we call the dynamite. Yeah. Sorry, good mojito. With that, the next one that came out was Eleni, the villain that we ended up with at the end of the Tomb of Annihilation, or not Tomb of Annihilation, Storm King Thunder campaign. However, she's in a different state. So when last time we actually talked about these characters, Thessalon was in the kind of stupefied state, and Eleni was in control. And now Eleni was in a stupefied state, so much so that that Thessalon was able to like essentially leash her, and keep her under control, that kind of stuff. There, she's sitting there kind of comatose. From there, a couple baddies came out of the mirrors. A Sturge, which you guys have, we didn't even break into combat. You guys just instantly smoked that thing story wise. Next one was Meta, an invisible stalker. It hit, was it Car or Sai? It hit a couple times pretty good. But you guys were able to take that down because of Thessalon using Eleni kind of as a identifying where this thing was, and like swinging her around to identify, have the leash wrap around where the invisible stalker was. Eventually started to run away, but you guys still killed it as it made its ways off. From there, we said, screw it. Everything that's going to come out of this that would be dangerous, you guys are going to kill. We're not inviting any more NPCs. So eventually you guys went through all the rooms and got Don out. There wasn't going to be anything else that was really going to be of a challenge, because these things are coming out one by one, and with a action economy, you're just going to smoke this thing. So it's like, let's just one-on-one fight, 1-on-5, 1-on-6 fights. Let's just glaze it over, get moving, get the game going. But that's where we wrapped up. So Navarre came out of the mirror. We now have Thessalon in tow. Or I should say Thessalon with Eleni in tow. You guys aren't quite sure what to make of them. Meta-wise, you know who they are. At least some of your players, some of the players do. However, the characters don't know. So it'll be interesting whether or not it comes out in the game or not. Is Thessalon was in a party with Vander, who is Navarre's brother. So it's going to be interesting if that comes out in play or not. So. Yeah, I feel bad that, oh crap, I got a page. Oh, never mind, it's my low battery. Okay. I feel bad that we lost Obrechta during a combat that was essentially skippable. But it was funny how it played out. Like, it was interesting to see that, like, the friendly fire spells kind of what did him in. I mean, I know really it was the death ray. But if it wasn't for the friendly fire spell, he would have been like 10-ish or so hit points, I think is what it turned out to be, somewhere around there. Anyway, I'm going to go drink the rest of my mojito. I might switch it up to like rum and coke or something like that after this. It's Friday. I can do that. Although I can only do one more because I'm on call. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.